3.5 minutes. For real. Where is that? Alright, so we know Foxhole is live. YouTube is live. D-Live is live. Facebook is live. So synthesizing. Be so synthesizing, you Cynthia. Cynthia McCynther. All right. 2 minutes left. Which is probably just under a minute left. Bring our music down a little. 30 seconds to launch. All right, 20 seconds. Beat.
Welcome to the 9dNation.
בראשית ברא אלוהים את השמיים ואת הארץ.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Thousands of years later, it was Wednesday at 11 p.m. Central. Get your passport ready and be prepared to declare to the customs agents any edible plants or miscellaneous worldviews. You're now crossing into the nation with no denomination.
Greetings. It is, scroll up to the top of the notes. You're in the 9dNation, the nation with no denomination. You're on the Foxhole, or on D-Live, or YouTube, or Facebook. I am G. Ross. On Fridays, we are joined by Angular, our co-host. And Fridays and Sundays, we will not broadcast on YouTube. But Wednesdays, we can do it. What do we do on the 9dNation. Season 1 was one thing. This is Season 2, Episode 7. We're going through the Bible. How so? Not preachy, not Bible study-y. So far we've gone Genesis 1:1 up through Genesis 2:4. And it's been kind of looking at the Hebrew. Not a Hebrew expert here by any means. I forgot who said it, but somebody said that's what all Hebrew people say. You know, all Hebrew experts. Not. But I'm learning slowly. So, our story so far. This is a summary of Genesis 1, sentence 1, through Genesis 2, sentence 4. Leaving out a lot, of course, but just as we've gone through the journey, 6 episodes before, this is what we've gotten. Is music too loud? I guess not. I always wonder that. Let's see. Absolutely no lurkerage, which is fine. Fine. Nope. One lurker, maybe. Maybe. That might be me. It's fine. It's fine. See what's going on with Facebook. See what's going on. I'm just stalling. I'm stalling. Okay, it's time to let's get on with it. Let's get on with it. Our story so far. It's official. That's the word Toledad. Toledad. I'm probably pronouncing it horribly. It's like these are the generations of. And this comes towards the beginning of chapter 2. But I'm summarizing it this way. Official, like stamp. Achaya Elohim makes the above and the below. Darkness over the deep. His spirit over the waters. Then, veggie food, sun, moon, stars, in the sky water holder, shining down, marking events. Plentiful water and air animals, land animals, and bigendered, fruitful, godlike humans ruling over the animals. Army of angels, all top-notch. All of it, everything we've said so far. Worked 6 days, rested on, sanctified, and blessed one day, the 7th. All right, that's our story so far. Let's go to Genesis 2, verse 5. It is time to change the screen to close up. Check. I feel like tonight the music needs to go down one. I could be wrong. All right. Bible. NAS. Genesis 2 NAS version. 5. Now, no shrub of the field was yet on the earth, and no plant of the field had yet sprouted. For the Lord God had not sent rain upon the earth, and there was no man to cultivate the ground. All right, let's go into the Hebrew. I will attempt to read this. Did I zoom in? I didn't zoom in. Okay. Main. Transition. There we go. All right. Yeah. Okay. I'm just curious how the words looked. Hey, can you stop bashing the table a lot? Thanks. There was a lot of bashing. All right. Let me make a run at this Hebrew. That sounds like I'm attacking a poor Hebrew guy. Vichol seach hasade tarim yiye va'aretz vekol Esev Hasade Terem Yitzmak Kilo Himter Yahweh Elohim Al Haaretz Ve'adam Ayin La'avod Et Ha'adama. I'd rather say Achaya Elohim, but anyway. So, Vekol, we already know from Kol, each. We know that from prior episodes. We dug into it a bit. Seach is from siach, or a bush, a shrub, a plant. This is only used 4 times in the entire Old Testament, according to the concordance. It's only in Genesis and Job, 2 times in each. I tried really hard to see if there was any other hint of anything besides plant or shrub. It's a really rare word, and I couldn't see any reason to think no. So, just going to stick with it. Hasadeh is from Sadeh, or field, or land. 333 Old Testament occurrences. And it's like a very flat, spread out land. Like maybe you would land an airplane on it, because it's so flat and spread out. Alright, so let's take a look at this. We got Bekol Sia Hasadeh, any plant of the field. Zoom in a bit. Now we get this word before. Terem. It means not yet or before. We're starting to get into some. There was some dividing words in the first chapter. Now there's some opposite or negation words. Terem is 56 used in the Old Testament time, 56 times. It means like not yet, before, stuff like that. Then we got Yiyeh. That comes from Haya. And that we've seen a lot so far in the prior 6 weeks. It's like it turned out to be, or it came to pass, or it turned out that. It's like a very subtle it was. And here's how it was. It was this way. It was just this way. Va'aretz, you probably notice, comes from Haaretz. Basically, it's a version of earth. So notice the pattern here. Vekol siach hasadeh terem and vekol esev hasadeh terem. So it's like the 4 words twice in a row. Vekol seach hasadeh terem, vekol esev hasadeh terem. Let me show you what I mean. Vekol siach hasadeh terem, then yiyah ba'aretz, was in the earth, and then vekol esev hasadeh terem. So any plant in the field before, any herb of the field before what? Was in the earth or had grown. Does that mean that the plants of the field before they were in the earth and the herbs of the field before they grew, they both end up being in the earth and growing? So I think it's that Hebrew style of writing where you see A, B, A, B, and A and B are juxtaposed, and often B further explains A, but certainly they're juxtaposed. This isn't quite Hebrew poetry, but it sure starts to feel that way, doesn't it? All right, anyway, so, and any herb, esev, we've seen that. We've seen esev in prior weeks. It's like grains, herbs, all the eating plants, all the food plants. Yitzmak, let's see, so it says Esev Hasadeh Terem Yitzmak. That's from samak, or to sprout or spring up. It's used 33 times in the Old Testament. And it's pretty much every time it's used, it means like to grow or sprout. Ki, we've seen that a ton. It means that or which. Lo, this is the first use of a clear negation. It just means not. It's used over 5,000 times in the Old Testament. But we haven't had to carve out any nots, right? There's before, so not yet. Now there's, which was not. Everything's still good. But there's some things that are not the case. Yitzmak ki lo. So Yitzmak was had not sprouted. Himtir, that comes from matar, that's to rain. There's 17 Old Testament uses. They all mean rain. Matar. Why these 17 uses? Well, maybe it didn't rain a lot in Israel, so they didn't talk about it a lot. I don't know. Let's check our chattery. See how our chattery is going. So quiet. So quiet. Okay. Go back. Go back. So quiet here today. Well, maybe you'll see the recording. All right. Where were we? Yitzmak kilo, himtir, ayin. That's nothing or not. And it's the first Old Testament use of 788. It's got a sense of very little, minuscule. So it's like gone. It means none or nothing. So it does mean zero, but it means zero approached by getting small. It's not zero like was never there or no potential. It's just nothing. That's ayin. So himtir, Yahweh Elohim Aharetz. Let's see. Kilo, himtir. So, which had not grown. Because Yahweh Elohim, or Ahaya Elohim, on the earth, Aharetz ve'adam, ayin, so had not yet, la'avodet ha'adama. So la'avod is to work. It's the first use in the Old Testament of 289 uses. And this is not easy work. This is field labor. This is work like a slave, a very productive ground worker. And that surprised me to see that. Like, that word is used consistently to mean, persistent garden laborer or field worker or slave. So everything's good. This is all perfect. This is the great and wonderful garden. Work is serious. Let's just put it that way. So let me look down this. We'll just walk through this one more time. Vikol, all, Siyah, plants, Hasadeh, of the field, Terem, not yet, Yiyeh. Where did we see Yiyeh before? Yeah, we saw that a lot. It turned out to be, that's right. Ba'aretz, earth, obviously. We call each herb. Saw that before. Hasadeh, of the field, just like we saw before. Yishma, we talked about that. Kilo, himtir. So this is the why. Key is why. Because Achaya Elohim, lo, because God not caused it to rain, himtired. Al haaretz, he had not caused it to rain on earth. Vu Adam, ayin, was not. So lo and ayin are both, let's see. Ayin, not. La'abod, there was no worker for the ground. And remember, vu Adam and ha'adama are similar root words because Adam's made from the ground. So he comes from the ground in order to work the ground. Interesting. All right, let's put it all together. Each field bush and herb was not yet growing on earth because Ahaya, God, hadn't yet made it rain, and man didn't exist to labor the land. So let's take our story so far and add this in. It's official, or Toledot. Ahaya, God, makes the above and the below, darkness over the deep, with his spirit over the waters. Then veggie food once it rained, and in anticipation of the human labor. And the sun, moon, and stars in the sky water holder shining down are marking events. Plentiful water and air animals, land animals, and bigendered, fruitful, godlike humans ruling over the animals. Army of angels, all top notch. Not just the angels, but everything. Worked 6 days, rested on, sanctified, and blessed the seventh day, one day. Is there a contradiction here? He made the veggies on an earlier day, like day 3, I think. Then he made it rain? Not necessarily. But we should keep it in mind. That's why I summarized it that way, because I was trying to put it all out. This next sentence will help, I think. I did see this. I'm going to put this in the chat just to see. Let's look at it real quick. So quiet. Am I actually broadcasting? I'm staring at the count of the pipples. So quiet. I think I'm broadcasting. Here, let's check. There's 2 lurkers. I'm one of them. There's one. It's probably my wife. All right. Not required to comment. It's not required. All right, let's take a look at this link. Does Genesis 2, 5 through 9 contradict Genesis 1? Here he says, no new vegetation sprung up. I don't think that's what this means, because it says none. So I don't even want to link this. It's bleh. I shouldn't have even put it in my notes. Shouldn't have even put it in my notes. Let's try this. It's official. Ahia God made the above and the below, darkness over the deep, his spirit over the waters, then veggie food all set up, waiting for soon the rain and in anticipation of the eventual arrival of human labor. And the sun, the moon, the stars in the sky water holder shine down, marking events. Plentiful water and air animals, land animals, and bigendered, fruitful, godlike humans ruling over the animals. All top notch, including the army of angels. This was 6 days of work. Rest on and sanctify on and bless the one final seventh day. Let's re-summarize. For some reason, I wanted to do that while preparing. For real, Toledot, for real, Ahia makes above and below. Darkness over the deep, his spirit over the waters. Then veggie food, all set up for rain and eventually human labor. The sun, the moon, the stars in the sky water holder shine down, marking events. Plentiful water and air animals, land animals, and bigendered, fruitful, godlike humans rule over the animals. Army of angels, it's all top notch. Work for 6 days. Rest on, sanctify, and bless the 1/7 day. Let's read verse 6. Verse 6. Here we go. But a mist used to rise from the earth and water the whole surface of the ground. How fascinating. That's just weird. Let's dig in. I said, let's dig in. Test. You know, check. I feel like my levels are a little low, aren't they? Hang on a second. They look good. I have a physical, actual dial. I don't know. Let's go to the filters. Compressor. Output gain. I'm just going to crank it up a tiny bit. I think something's changed. Check, check. That's a little better. I think. All right. You tell me. All right. Ding. Verse 6. Let's try it in Hebrew. Let me attempt this. Ve'ed Yaela min haaretz vehishka et kol pnei ha'adama. So ve'ed is from ed. That's a mist. It's used one time in Genesis, one time in Job. In Job, so the only other use in the Old Testament of this word, ve'ed, from ed, Job says this: for he draws up the drops of water, they distill rain from its celestial stream, which clouds pour down. That's not a mist, that's a celestial stream. Here, let's go. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you a mist. Mist, you say? In Job, you say? Is it really a mist? It depends. Depends on who you want to listen to. Do you want to listen to King James and his secret cabal? Rain. I don't see mist. They distill his mist. Okay, so English Standard. Let's see who thinks it's mist. Berrien, New King James, NASB. King James, man. He's not going mist. Let's see what old King James said. Let's read his version. Small drops of water, they pour down. Oh, vapor. Okay, that's fair. But I don't know, man. All right, well, anyway. Some mystery word. So it seems like rain was unnecessary for a while, maybe. Was it constantly misting, like, and watering the land? Would it have kept everything kind of muddy? Was it periodic? And yeah. So Ve'ed Yaela, so a mist, Yaela, from Allah, to go up, to ascend. There's 880 to climb. There's 888 Old Testament uses, and it can mean to go, to offer, to ascend, things like that. Min, this is the first of 1,000 and some odd uses, like 1,200 uses. From, it's a preposition. It can mean like other prepositions, but it's pretty much from, especially in this context. Vehishka, that comes from shaka. So Va'ed Yaela min haaretz. We already know haaretz is earth, right? Vehishka. So Vehed, a mist. Yaela, went up. An implication of up, but out of, from. Min. Climbed min haaretz. So it goes up. Vehishka. This is cause to drink water. Give to drink. 61 Old Testament occurrences. It's like sharing water. It's very active. You're getting the camel to drink. You're offering a glass to the person. Like you're giving drinkable water. You're doing your part so that the other entity can slake their thirst. It's very active. So Vehishka. Et kol, from all. Pene, the surface. You remember the pene, the surface of the deep. Ha'adama, the ground. Remember where Adam comes from. So, let's summarize that. A mystery mist would leave earth and make the ground drink. So let me put it all together with our story so far. Official stamp. Toledat. Ahaya, God, makes the above and the below. Darkness over the deep. His spirit over the waters. Then veggie food, ready for human labor. The sun, the moon, the stars are in the sky, water holders shining down, marking events. plentiful water and air animals, land animals, and bigendered, fruitful, godlike humans ruling over the animals. An army of angels. It's all top-notch. He worked for 6 days. He rested on, sanctified, and blessed the singular next seventh day. Before rain, mist would leave earth and let the ground drink. Let's go to verse 7. First, I will make a round through the chattery. O chattery, you wonderful thing, you. Let's read verse 7. Then the Lord God formed the man of dust from the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And the man became a living person. So he was a man, and then he was a living nefesh, is what we're going to see there. Let's look in the Hebrew. All right, I'm going to try not to butcher this too bad. Are you ready? Are you ready? Verse 7. Vayitzer achaya Elohim et ha'adam afar min ha'adama vayipach be'apav nizmat hayim vayi ha'adam lanefesh chaya. So vayitzer comes from yatzar, and it's to form or fashion. It's the first use in the Old Testament of how many? 63 uses. It's got a sense, half the time it's used, as a potter with clay. So, Vayitzar, formed like a potter with clay. Achaya Elohim, Lord God. Et ha'adam, the man. Afar. That's like dry earth, dust, or plaster. It's in the Old Testament 110 times, that afar. So, formed God, the man, from dust. Ha'adama, ground dust. Floor dirt, like, land dirt. Vayipach, that's comes from nafach, which is to breathe or blow. You can kind of hear throat in there. Nefesh, nafach. Nefesh, nafach. You nafach through your nefesh nafachs, right? So and it's got a blasting kind of, well, you hear that in a second, because the next word is be'epav. That's from af, which is, oh no, that's not the blast. That's like either your nostril, your nose, your face. It can also mean anger. I don't know why. There's 276 uses. It's basically face or nose. So it's kind of like, my dad one time gave mouth to mouth to resuscitate a dog that had stopped breathing. It was this mid-sized poodle or whatever. So we just put the whole mouth and nose in his mouth and went. So, this could be your nose or your face. So God comes down and goes. It's like mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, right? We covered this in Paradise Syndrome, the episode of Star Trek on the Sunday night show a couple months ago. Kirk comes down and uses mouth-to-mouth on the boy, and so they think he's God. All right. Ba'ipav. Nizmat. That's from the word neshama, and it's breath. There's 23 Old Testament occurrences. It can mean breath, spirit, or life, but it's not the ruach word. This is more actual breath. And it has a blast. I actually wrote down the word boom, like boom. And then Nizmat Hayim, which we Where's that word? I didn't write down a note for Chaim. Yizmat Chaim. Oh, that's right. We've seen this word a million times. It's alive, basically. Here, let's take a look at it since I didn't bother to take a note. Living creature as opposed to dead creature or pretend clay creature. Only God can make life, right? That's really what we're getting to. So, Nizmat Chaim. So the boom of life. The like a big, like a karate kiai, like Hai. Vayhi ha'adam. So Vayhi, we know it means it turned out. So Vayhi Adam, Nefesh Chaya, a living soul, or a living throat, or a living mouth to feed. Nefesh. We've talked about Nefesh in the past. Let's summarize this all up. A Chaya molded man from ground dust and breathed into the nose a boom of life. Boom is a made-up word I just made up. And he turned out to be a living human. It's like a of life, right? So the structure here is that man was formed, and then he was converted into a living creature by life breath to become a human soul or a mouth to feed. Remember that nefesh it means soul, but it's got a strong throat component. Let's put it all together. It's official. A Chaya God made the above and the below. Darkness over the deep, with his spirit over the waters. Then, veggie food, ready. Mist cycle, then later rain cycle, and for human labor. The sun, the moon, the stars, in the sky water holder, shine down, marking events. Plentiful water and air animals, land animals, and bigendered, fruitful, godlike humans, ruling over the animals. What do I mean by godlike? In the image of God. An army of angels, all top-notch, all of it, everything, made in 6 days. Rest on the seventh, sanctify the seventh, bless the seventh. A Chaya forms humans from the land dust, and they're made alive by a blast of breath from God, or it, or he. I don't know how many humans yet. I said humans, it's really one. Ha'adam. Let's shorten it a little more. Toledat. It's official. A Chaya God makes above and below, darkness over the deep, with his spirit over the waters. Then veggie food ready. Mist cycle, then later rain cycle, all for human labor. Then the sun, the moon, the stars, in the sky water holder shine down, marking events. Plentiful water and air animals, land animals, and bigendered, fruitful, godlike humans from land dust by way of God breath to rule over the animals. An army of angels, all top-notch. Work for 6 days, rest on, sanctify, and bless 1 day. Let's make a round through the chats and look at verse 8. What is up, my people? A couple more lurkers coming in. What are we doing? We're, oh, by the way, I wanted to say something on that last thing. What was it? I'm just casually mentioning the sky water holder. Episodes, I think, 2 and a little bit 3 really made the case, I humbly think, for that the firmament that separates the waters above from the waters below is like a sky water holder, and that the sun, moon, and stars are embedded in the firmament, the rakia, and they shine down out of the rakia, the sun, the moon, and the stars, to mark the events. So, is that flattish, earthish? Just saying, just reading the Bible. And it says that the sky water holder, or the firmament, holds the waters above, the waters below. Make of that what you will. I make of that a sky water plate, like a flat dinner plate, because it gets banged out like a hammersmith, like a metalsmith. All that's in the chapter 1. It's there. I'm not making that up. It's there. You can see episode 2 and maybe part of 3, I think. Let's go to verse 8. I think that's the last verse I prepared. I might do a bonus verse. Depends on how long it takes to do this verse. Verse 8. Verse 8. You can hear my Texas accent. Verse 8. Verse 8. Verse 8. The Lord God planted a garden. Give me all my equipment, dude. Planted a garden toward the east in Eden. And there he placed the man whom he had formed. That needs to be dug into. So let's dug into it. Let's see if I can not too horribly mangle the language. I'm going in. Are you ready? Are you ready? Vayita achaya Elohim gan be'edin Mikedim vayasem sham et ha'adam asher yatzar. Let's go in. Let me zoom. I feel like I have to, get all ready for it. Vayita. It's from Natah, 58 Old Testament uses. It can plant a garden, it can plant a plant, it can plant a city, it can plant an ear. This word Natah is to plant, and it can plant a complex thing. A plant is complex. A garden of plants is complex. An ear is complex. A city is complex. So those are some of the uses. Gan. So, Vayita Yahweh Elohim Gan Be'edin. A garden. This is used 42 times in the Old Testament. I looked at them all. It's garden. It's a garden. It's exactly organized planted plants, basically. Edible, non-edible, doesn't matter. Be'edin, that means from Eden. That's the garden home of Adam and Eve, according to the Concordance. 16 Old Testament uses, and every time it's a proper name. It's in Genesis, Chronicles, Isaiah, Ezekiel, and Joel. So it's that place. We'll learn more about Eden, obviously, in the next few chapters. Mikedim, so Vayita Ahaya Elohim Gan Be'edin Mikedim. Mikedim is from the word kedim, and that's aforetime. There's 87 Old Testament occurrences. It can mean front, east, and formerly. So it's kind of like the precedent or the preceding direction. So what's the cardinal direction? Well, east. Now, east is holy. Did you know that? East is holy. I found this link, and mostly its use, I'm going to put this in the chat, is like, whatever its conclusions, I didn't even read them. But it's just a long list of proof in the scriptures. The garden was planted to the east. The cherubims were posted to the east. The burnt offering was supposed to be thrown on the east side. The tabernacle's entrance faces the east. Ezekiel's vision of God's glory comes from the east. The temple faces the east. The Messiah's prophecy cometh to the east. Cain is exiled to the east after murdering Abel. It's not holy. People travel to the east to build the Tower of Babel. Lot traveled to the east. The tribe of Judah was exiled in Babylon to the east. Oh, interesting. You're not to travel to the east. Things are to come from the east. Like the sun, right? In the morning. Going west is positive. Take the good things from God from the east. Can I do my broadcast as you keep? looking over here, dude. You're checking on me for some reason. It's very distracting. All right. Anyway, just wanted to share some East. Oh, did I put that in the chat? Let me put that in the chat. That's only fair. East. Bill Tech. Howdy. All right. So from the East. So then Vayasem comes from sum or sim. It's to put, to place, to set. There's 583 uses in the Old Testament. And it's a very like active creation word. Like, let me show you the concordance on that one. I feel like when you look through the different definitions of how it's used, it's like, what? No, that's not what I want. Consider, disguise, establish, fasten, fix, form, make, hunt, impose, invoke. It's like a very intentional, flexible word. Here in context, it does mean put or stick or place, right? Let's look at how, well, let's do this. Let's take a look at how the different translators translate it. Planted, 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 planted. Oh no, put, place, put, place, put, place, 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 put, placed, placed, put, placed, put. So we're gonna get put, right? So I'm gonna stick with that. You stay put. You go there. I'm gonna put you there. Put. Sam. What does Sam mean? That's from 833 Old Testament uses. It means yonder, essentially. The place I was just telling you about, in this context. Not here, but there. That garden. Because when you're telling this story to your kids, they're like, where's the garden? Oh, it's not here. It's yonder. Asher, we've seen that word a million times. It means there. Yatsar, place the man. Hashem Sham Adam. Asher Yatsar. And Yatsar we talked about in the last verse. So let's summarize this all. Here, let me just glance through this real quick. So, Vayita, like you could plant an ear or a garden. Yahweh Elohim Gan, pure, just a garden. Ba'eden, proper name. The Eden Garden. Mikedem. God puts the garden in the east, so it's good. Vayasam, that's a active, careful placing. Put. Foink. Maybe you think like a kid with a dollhouse. Foink. Sam. Et Ha'adam. We know that's Adam. Asher. That's who. And Yashar. And we saw that in the prior sentence. He sculpted like clay. There's about 50 some odd uses, I think, in the Old Testament. Whatever we said a minute ago. All right, let's summarize this up. Sculpted and plopped Achaya, a garden towards the holier east when he does it, in Eden, and actively positioned there the formed man. So let's put our story together. Achaya God makes the above and the below. Darkness is over the deep, with his spirit over the waters. Then veggie food is ready, a mist cycle, then later a rain cycle, and for human labor. The sun, the moon, the stars in the sky water holders shine down to mark events. There's plentiful air animals, plentiful water animals, land animals, and bigendered fruitful godlike humans from the land dust by way of God breath will rule over the animals. An army of angels, everything top-notch. Work 6 days. Rest, sanctify, and bless the seventh. Human put in a bamfed-in garden, like teleported in, like in the holy eastern area of Eden. Let me try again. Achaya God makes the above and below, darkness over the deep, his spirit over the waters. Then, veggie food ready, a mist cycle, later rain cycle, human labor. And the sun, moon, and the stars are in the sky water holder, shining down, marking events. Plentiful water and air animals, land animals, and bigendered, fruitful, godlike humans. For the holy plopped Eden garden made from land dust, the humans now are made from land dust by way of God breath to rule over the animals. An army of angels. All of this top-notched, worked for 7 days, rested on, and sanctified and blessed one day. I'm going to try one more time. Achaya God makes the above and the below, darkness over the deep, his spirit over the waters. Then, veggie food ready, mist cycle, then later rain cycle, all for human labor. And the sun, the moon, the stars are in the sky water holder, shining down, marking events. Plentiful water animals, air animals, land animals, and bigendered, fruitful, godlike Eden garden humans made from land dust and God-breathed to rule over the animals. Army of angels, all top-notch, worked for 6 days, rested on, sanctified, and blessed one day. Do we want to hit verse 9? I may. I'm kind of feeling versey 9-y. I'm feeling verse 9. That'll probably be the last one. I haven't prepped verse 9. You know how that goes. So let's check out the verse, the 9. Out of the ground, it's a long one. All right, cool. Out of the ground, the Lord God caused every tree to grow that is pleasing to the sight and good for food. The tree of life was also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Everything is still good. How do I know that? It hasn't said otherwise, and it's double-clicking on what it's already said was good, right? It did the 6 days of creation, and now it's zooming in, right? Double-clicking. All right. Vayatzmach achaya Elohim min ha'adama kol etz nechmad lamare v'tob lamakal v'es ha'haim betok hagan v'etz hadaat tob vara. All right, let's dig in. Made grow. Have we seen this word before? Yes, we have. One sentence earlier. So we covered it tonight because I think, what did we start with tonight? What verse did we start with tonight? I forgot. This verse, yeah. So we covered this a little bit while ago, so we'll stick with whatever they said. I think I liked it, right? What did I say earlier? Sprouted. Made sprout. Vekol. No. Siak. Terem. Where? Oh. Hasade. No. It was, Yitzmak. To sprout. Grow or sprout. That's what I wrote down. Okay. That matches what they wrote down. I agree with them. I agree with the scholars. How smart of me. Achaya Elohim, that's the covenant name. Achaya Elohim. Still kind of weirding me out. You know, Genesis started with Elohim, 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 and then all of a sudden, every time so far it's been Achaya Elohim, Achaya Elohim, Achaya Elohim. It's a weird way to write the book, you know, but meh. Could it leave room for the Trinity? God made man. And then when you zoom in, Father God did this, or covenant God. See, I don't know if Yahweh is Father God, because pre-incarnate Jesus is doing all this. Everything was created by him, through him, and for him. So we'll see. It might leave room for confusion or the Trinity. We'll study it as we need to, right? Just keep that in mind. Oh, by the way, it'll be about, 90 years before we get to the New Testament at this rate. We'll see. Maybe we'll jump around. Min, out. Have we seen that word before? Min. Oh, yeah, we just talked about from. It's basically a simple preposition. Ha'adama, we've covered that a lot before. That's the ground, the dirt. Kol, every. Etz, tree. We've seen both of those words a ton. Nehmad. I don't think we've seen this word before. Let's dig in. This is the first occurrence of how many occurrences? 28 shows up in Daniel, Isaiah, Proverbs, Psalm, Job, 2 Chronicles, Joshua, Deuteronomy, Exodus. It's used to mean pleasing, delight, desirable, precious things, to great delight. To desire or take pleasure in. So every tree that is pleasing to the sight, that looks desirable, every tree, I'm suspicious. We better pay attention to this. And he put, and made grow Yahweh, God, out of the ground. Now, I don't know if this ground is clearly the Eden ground or all ground. I think it's the whole earth still. Not sure. If we need to dig into that, we will. Every tree is pleasing to the sight and, let's look at the word for sight. Pleasing to sight. It's the first appearance. It's an appearance or vision or a thing you see. Mare, right? How many uses? 104. It's a good sight or an impressive sight, it seems to say. Like a stunning, like, whoa. Do you feel like that when you look at a tree? Whoa. I think when you're a kid, you can. I think if all of a sudden there was nothing and then there was something and it only took a day to make all the trees, you'd be like, whoa. The Tob, we've seen that. Like, day 1. Morning, night, it was good. Day 2, morning and evening, good. Or no, it was so. No, that's not how it works. 3 or 4 times, Elohim saw it and it was good. So we've dug into that word. It pretty much means good, right? Like, I'm not going to disagree with the scholars, but I'm digging through it, right? So we can. Lemekal, I think we've seen this word before. Nope. Food. There's been other words for food earlier. Huh, hang on. For eating. Maybe it was for eating. Let's read. Now I'm all confused. Let's do this. Bible of Gen 1 NAS. Yielding seed. Education. That's good. I know we saw food before. I want to see what the word was. Shall be food for you. All right. Verse 29. Shall be food for you. Leekla. As opposed to this word. Ma'akal. Okla and ma'akal. Food. Food. Okay. Why you got to use a different word? I don't know. Okay. Let's go back. Let's check out what we know about this version of food, though. I didn't really dig into that. Good for food, good for food. All the food. Food for Pharaoh. He gets good food, Pharaoh does. Fruit, meat. Food, meat, fruit, eat, meat, something. Okay. Provision. So like an army food. Meals ready to eat. 29 occurrences. It's not a lot, but trees for food. All right, cool. So another word for food. Me'ekal and akal. I guess it's like eating food. What other kind of food would there be? Me'ekal. Okay. For food. Vu'etz, so also the tree. Chachayim, we've seen the word for life here a few times. In the midst or among, we've seen this word before. Let me double check. Bitog, yeah, in the midst of the waters. Only saw it the once before, but kind of means between or stuck in, right? In the midst. Inside, interior, internally, middle, severing almost, like cutting apart. So, definitely in. Hagan, we saw the word gan a minute ago for garden. Vu'etz, the other tree. Of knowledge, of Tob, we've seen that good. Now this is the first time we've seen evil. Let's look into knowledge and evil. Knowledge. Da'ath, knowledge. Concern, premeditation, skill, truth. Used how many times? 95. He who teaches man knowledge, the night shows knowledge. Without knowledge, or into the night, who knows? By words without knowledge, die without knowledge. Knowledge, I guess is no. God, knowledge. Depart at the knowledge. So it's cleverness, according to that. As far as you know, I don't know. I got no reason to doubt it, but tree of knowledge, understanding, knowledge, and all. So maybe it's like understanding, but not exactly understanding. Knows the knowledge. Unintentionally. Interesting. Cunning. Premeditation. On purpose, maybe you could say. All right. Let's dig into evil. First word that's the opposite of good. Knowledge of good and evil. Attraction and adversity. Evil. How many times is evil used in the Old Testament? 667. Ugly, sad, wicked, evil, wild, evil, harmful, bad, displeasure, something you don't want, wicked, evil. All right, let's put it all together. I gotta jot this down. All right. Forced to sprout, Achaya Elohim, out of the ground, every awe-inspiring tree. Let me write that down. Achaya, God, made sprout from the ground, every pretty, awesome tree. Maybe not awesome. Eye-striking tree. and good for food. The tree of life was in the garden proper, like in the midst, not like vaguely near. I mean, so clear, but. And the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. What should we call these trees? I mean, everyone knows these trees. The tree of life, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. I don't think I dare try to summarize those G. Ross style. We're going to stick with that. A high God made sprout from the ground. Every pretty, eye-striking tree, it's good for food. And the tree of life was in the garden proper, and the tree of knowledge was of good and evil was in the garden proper. So if I take our former paragraph and I insert all this new info, I get Achaya makes the above and below, darkness over the deep, his spirit over the waters. Then veggie food is ready for human labor. The sun, the moon, the stars in the sky water holder shine down, marking events. Plentiful water animals, air animals, land animals, and bi-gendered, fruitful, godlike Eden garden humans from land dust. And God breathed to rule over the animals. Where am I going to stick the trees? So it says there's one tree in the garden. Okay. Garden. So I'll say with tree of knowledge, tree of life, and good and evil. Tree of life. Okay. So Achaya makes the above and the below, darkness over the deep, with his spirit over the waters. Then veggie food ready for human labor. And the sun, moon, and stars, veggie plants, food plants, ready for human labor. And the sun, moon, and stars in the sky water holder shine down, marking events. Plentiful water and air animals, land animals, and bi-gendered, fruitful, godlike humans, God-breathed humans, from land dust to rule over the animals in the Eden garden with tree of life and tree of knowledge of good and evil, an army of angels, everything top-notch. Took 6 days. Rested on, sanctified, and blessed. 7th day. Okay. Achaya makes the above and the below, darkness over the deep, his spirit over the waters. Then food plants ready for human labor. And the sun, moon, and stars in the sky water holder shine down, marking events. plentiful water and air animals, land animals, and bigendered, fruitful, godlike, God-breathed humans from land dust to rule over the animals are put in, I gotta say that, are put in the Eden Garden with tree of life and tree of knowledge of good and evil. An army of angels, everything top notch, took 6 days, rested on, sanctified, and blessed the seventh day. All right, we'll pick it up from there next week. All right. What is going on? Okay, that was fun, right? I am about to roll on out of here. I'll start the Play Me Off music, which I then can't avoid. I like that Play Me Out music so much. It's so fun. Watch this. If you haven't seen it before, I stole it from other shows, this concept. But let's see. You won't even notice much, right? You'll be like, what's going on? And then in the background, you'll start to hear this music fading in. So the volume's still kind of low, right? But it's going to keep going. It's going to force my hand. I'm going to have to head out. I've really got no choice in the matter. I mean, I can stay. This whole thing, I made it 8 minutes long. Just in case, because you never know. You never know. And it loops. So you're like, well, let me just tell you one more thing. But it's challenging. It's tough. You're like, but it's clearly like, playing me off, right? Play me off, Johnny. So it'll cause me to really want to trigger the outro video. And the outro video tells you the whole schedule of 3 shows throughout the week. Oh, there's a little breath there. Nope, but it's coming back. All right, cool. Oh, I got to remember to tell you, I'll go check in on Severe and on maybe Due Diligence. We'll see how they're doing. How's that for a deal? I'll be over there. Oh, it's getting louder. I gotta bail. All right. You've been great. Whew. Thank you for spending time with us. We're joined on Fridays by co-host Angular. This has been G. Ross, and you are the underscore. Be sure to catch us on the foxhole.app, DLive, YouTube, or Facebook. Current shows include The Bread Pill Weekly. You've been red pilled, now be the red pill. You're out of the oven and ready for delivery on our weekly alternative news roundup and call-in show on Foxhole, DLive, YouTube, and Facebook every Friday at 5:30 p.m. Central, co-hosted by G. Ross and Angular. Current shows include Epistemology for Fun and Profit, where woo meets goo. You're in the woo, and the woo is in you. A philosophical call-in show with occasional guest interviews, diving into the oldest questions. Most episodes are exclusively on the foxhole.app, Sunday at 11:30 p.m. Central. Current shows include 9dNation, the nation with no denomination. Declare to the custom agents any edible plants or miscellaneous worldviews. We take a look back at how we got here, eventually leading into a regular Wednesday night Bible study at 11 p.m. Central. Catch us on the foxhole.app, DLive, YouTube, and Facebook. Our Friday co-host is Angular. This has been G. Ross, and you are the underscore.